Hi everybody.
Hi everybody.
We are out on our evening constitutional.
Yes, it's been a long day. The light is fading.
And we've been getting lots of steps in since we got the dog.
We have on our heart monitor.
Yes, although mine's on my phone, I keep forgetting to bring my phone so my steps don't get counted.
Well, my heart monitor's on my phone. And if you can hear snorting, it's not someone doing drugs. It's our dog that's found a gopher hole. It's going to probably start digging very quickly.
Yes. Oh well. And we have a new health insurance plan that we earn $1 a day every time we meet our step count.
That's true.
It's kind of cool.
I'm up to $18.
I know you're beating me, but your steps were so much lower than mine initially.
Oh, what you're saying, because I got short legs, I do more steps?
No, I mean your the requirements that they asked of you were less than mine.
Oh, they were, because I'm an old man.
I don't know why.
Anyway, we're going to talk about baggage today, won't we?
Yes.
Baggage, and not the grocery kind.
There's no such thing as grocery baggage.
Well, of course there is. You go to the grocery store and you get your groceries bagged up. Therefore, you are supplied with bags that therefore become baggage. But we're not talking about those bags.
Anyway, what we are talking about is how oftentimes couples or people think that they've got baggage and that gets in the way of them being able to have a good relationship. And we were talking about how I thought that my baggage at the beginning of our relationship was getting in the way of us being able to be together. And then Angus so kindly remembered about one time where I barricaded him out of our apartment.
You did.
And I don't know, do you want to say anything more about that?
Do you want to give my perspective on that
Go
story?
Go ahead.
So in those days, I would think I was quite a grounded, centered individual.
You were.
Not prone to the odd outburst.
I changed all that.
Changed all that pretty quickly. Marriage seemed to change all that. But there was one occasion where you had got quite upset, shall we say, and I think that we were locked in conflict for sure. And I decided, well, this is probably a good time to go and have a walk around the neighborhood. And then I went for a little casual walk around the neighborhood, got back, and to find myself had been barricaded out of the apartment. I couldn't understand why the door wouldn't open. It would open about 3 centimeters, but not any further. And then as I managed to push and push, and eventually I was able to push it enough to sort of so I think I was able to see it reflected in a mirror. It was like this huge construction that was made up of all kinds of different objects from the apartment, like coat racks and maybe a chair.
Couch.
Was it the couch?
I think so.
Oh my God. So anyway, Rohini had barricaded me out of the apartment. And you can take it from here.
Well, it was not one of my finest moments, and I don't quite remember how you managed to talk yourself back in.
I think I had to push my way back in. And then I think I was actually kind of amused by it all.
Yeah, you didn't get reactive.
It's not every day you can say you got barricaded out of your apartment by your crazy girlfriend.
So anyway, that was one of those times where I was just so reactive and in so much pain that was what my wisdom was guiding me to do. I think it was one way of trying to get your attention.
Yes.
But I was seeing a therapist at the time, an English therapist who really didn't seem to like me at all. I don't know why I kept seeing that therapist. But anyway, she said that, clearly I have, the baggage of abandonment issues, and that was just going to be something that would keep coming up in our relationship. And so to just kind of steel myself around that. So I really bought into that idea and kind of just defined myself as this really sensitive person that would just, act crazy whenever my abandonment issues got activated. And Angus would just have to deal with it. But now what is just so empowering is being able to see that, all that was happening in that moment was that I was having all kinds of painful thinking come up, but instead of understanding what was happening to me at the time, I was just being driven by the pain to do anything that would try to take my mind off of it, which became barricading the apartment door. But if I had known that this is just crazy talk going on in my head, doesn't matter where it might have stemmed from, what all that counts is it's thinking right here in that moment that I was having, then it would have been so much easier for me perhaps to not not take it so seriously. And I, as I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking, well, actually, barricading you out of the apartment was one of my ways of trying to settle my mind at the time. It was actually not such a bad thing to do. Could have been a lot worse.
Should have got you some Lego.
I only did it that one time.
Obviously missed your calling in life.
I obviously didn't do a very good job since we were able to get back in. But that, this happens. I mean, luckily I haven't been doing anything like that recently. But we all get caught up in our thinking. And it's easy to sort of think that the answer for the suffering is going to come from figuring out where that thinking came from, reframe the thinking, find a different way to look at that situation, or try and control the thinking. There's all kinds of ways that we can think about how to try and navigate that situation. But really, when we see that, it's not my responsibility to manage my thoughts, to control what thoughts I'm having, and I don't need to when I understand what's happening at the time. When I can see that, my feeling experience is painful because I'm gripped by these painful thoughts. They're happening here and now. They don't have any roots anywhere other than the present moment. When I see that and understand that, and my natural state, the way that we're all designed as human beings is to come back into peace, to come back into harmony, then I'm going to be much more likely to look at, how do I allow myself to ride this out more gracefully and feel safer in the process.
Yeah. I'm thinking that one of my experiences of going through therapy, which I probably wouldn't even considered had you not pressured me into doing it. I think we started off with couples therapy, and then I did individual therapy, was I sort of came out of the whole exercise thinking that, that I could hang all my issues on things that had happened in my childhood. And I think that when I took that on board, that certain experiences became an easy target for me to say, that's why I am who I am today. And then I felt like at first it kind of felt good. Yeah, there's a reason why I behave the way that I do. And then when I continued to behave in that way, then I thought, well, there's nothing that I can do. I'm kind of scarred and broken. And no amount of therapy really did any help on that front. And for me, the big shift for now is just, it seems so black and white that I can see that that generally, if I'm out of balance, it's because I'm in a low mood, and that low mood could have been triggered by any number of different scenarios, and probably nothing to do with my past. It's just the fact that I'm in a low mood. And I've developed some habitual thinking around how you're supposed to behave in that low mood, and that unfortunately that in the past with you in our relationship meant that I would probably bellow and scream and be quite obnoxious, because that was just sort of the pattern of behavior that developed over time. And now I just see that it's kind of like an illusion that I've created for myself. It's a narrative that was built up, maybe it could have been built in my childhood, and that would be understandable, maybe, but at the end of the day, it just feels like, if I'm in a low mood, I have a tendency to, there is a pattern of obnoxious behavior. But that in itself is an illusion. It's not something that I need to take seriously, and I can just wait to come back into my natural state, which is one of balance. And the more that I see that now, the more that I recognize that, the quicker we get back to an even keel. I get back to that neutral state.
And really, the key piece for me is the freedom that comes from recognizing that there is no baggage. There's only the present moment. There's only here and now, and there's only the thinking that is happening to me in this moment. And understanding that has me not be so afraid of whatever it is that I'm going on, even if my emotional experience is painful or intense or uncomfortable, recognizing that it's just happening temporarily, because those are the thoughts that are present, and I happen to be buying into whatever that illusion is. It's so much lighter and easier to not dig in and take it seriously.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't barricaded you out of the apartment lately.
Whoa! The dog decided enough is enough.
All right,
I'm not waiting any longer. That was a good punctuation point.
Bye. Have a great weekend,
Bye. Have
everybody.
a great weekend. Take care.